ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जना शलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशचारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। निताय नामिने चे नामिर्हाते शरमुल्ये नाम dite chere. Nitai namine che namirhate sharamurye nam dite chere. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Some may not know, but the ways I've survived so many years in Krishna consciousness have been because of my godbrother's interventions in my life. And one of the greatest of those spiritual interveners has been His Holiness Indradunda Maharaj in my life, who I feel very much in resonance with. We grew up near each other. From my town to his, one could throw an avocado and it would land near the other's home or high school. And I didn't know that, but whenever I've seen Mahārāja, I always felt like, oh, there's somebody from my village. And it's remarkable in that the my village syndrome goes on all over the world. As we come here to Calcutta, where I used to live and did live for some time as a brahmachari, my favorite city in the whole world. The moment we landed here, I know Nirkula began to swoon. And because when we drive through the streets of Calcutta, we only think of Prabhupada. And we think of him as he said once during a very tense negotiation where someone thought, oh, this is a sadhu, we'll cheat him. And Prabhupada was so deft at negotiation financially, socially, in personal communication. That person was left way behind. And Prabhupada said, he does not know I'm a Calcutta boy. And how Prabhupada had inculcated the mood of his spiritual master, how he had imbibed it, and how he had then systematically made it available to people all over the world, seems inevitable in his preparation in his life as one who grew up in a family of pure devotees. Prabhupada deemed his father a pure devotee in his own right, who only wanted him to be a great devotee of Srimati Radharani. His mother, protective of his devotional creeper since the very beginning. And as Prabhupada noted later on, when he had come to America and he was recording some bhajans, he had said, my father wanted me to be like this. And someone said, like what? And Prabhupada said, like this. And that's, he was representing Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu with no deviation. And as Mahārāja was pointing out, the pure devotee has this predictive power we call trikaligya. I always wonder at that, since there's a way in which the soul is always in the eternal present, what is past and what is future, and what is predictive power. The predictive power, one could say, comes from knowing the Lord's intention. And this is the core message that Prabhupada espoused, and that is that anyone from any place, kiba vipra kibanyasi shudra kenanoi, ye Krishna tattva vete se guru hoy, one who knew tattva of Krishna, could then teach it all over the world, and that person, because of following Krishna's instruction, would be successful because of the backing of the Lord himself. Srila Prabhupada claimed that he had no personal asset except the adherence to his spiritual master's instruction. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana, a verse from the Bhagavad Gita everyone knows, which Prabhupada had taken up from Acharya's commentary, in which he said that this is the meditation of the devotee, and that is, I take the order of the Lord and my spiritual master through Guru and Parampara, and I represent that without any deviation. And Prabhupada said he took that as his primary meditation. As mentioned by Karbhajana Muni in the 11th canto of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Tyaktva sadusyada surepchida raja lakshman, dharmishta arya vachasa yadagararanyam. Much commentated upon verse, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sridhar Swami have all commented on that verse. The element of that verse that's relevant to this point I'm making, Dharmishta Arya Vachasa. We know that in Ram Leela, Lord Ramachandra's father had agonizingly taken the path of Dharma by honoring the vow he had given to his wife. Dasarath, in fact, died out of separation after sticking to the truth. Dharmishta Arya, he had spoken it, therefore he kept it. And Ram, he went to the forest when everyone said, there's a loophole, you don't have to do this. Come back even, they chased after him. And he said, no, Dharmishta Arya, my father has given me the order, it came from his mouth. Therefore, I cannot deviate. And this was what Prabhupada claimed to be the fulcrum of power in his campaign to take Krishna consciousness all over the world. He said that by taking the intention of my spiritual master and following his instruction, which he clarified, as Maharaj mentioned, Prabhupada clarified it because he had received that instruction at Rādhā-kuṇḍa. And then later on he had written to his spiritual master just a fortnight before his guru had left the world and asked, how may I serve you? He had already told him how he might serve him. And then his guru wrote back and told him that he should preach in the West. And he should engage those he preached to, and also carrying forth the message of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. He said it'll be good for them, and it'll be good for the people that receive that message through them. And Prabhupada told us repeatedly that one must only take up the order of the spiritual master, of the Guru Parampara, and represent it in a way that would be appreciable by those who would receive it in their particular culture without changing the meaning. So Prabhupada knew that by following the order of his spiritual master, which was very clear, he would be successful. One may follow that, remembering Prabhupada's claim that I am not endowed with any special power except this. Therefore, he said, everyone who follows what I have passed on to you, and those who pass it on to others, the same mood and mission, will also be successful because it's backed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And a favorite quote of mine, those who've listened to me speak before probably know this in their sleep, because I've quoted it so many times from the second canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the purport, Prabhupada writes that the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a manifestation of his internal potency. And it is by that potency that one comes to see the Lord face to face. I was so encouraged by your talk because it left me with the hopeful feeling and the feeling of great opportunity that we all have. A canvas of the whole world now open for business. And we know the success formula, which is be a stita dear muni. Stick to the very clear instruction that comes from the founder Acharya. We're an Acharya Sampradaya. We're so fortunate that we have very clear instruction given in Prabhupada's books, his mood, his message. He's given hundreds of lectures. And it's straightforward and simple. No extra gizmos or gadgets necessary. No coins necessary to operate Creek. One simply has to take the clear message, the simple process, and as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, follow the simple path very strictly. And as I was sitting here and watching, we're in this enclave, it's transcendental bubble. And as the people go by, they have their work. One lady, as she walked by, looked in and saw everyone sitting here, saw Mahārāja, and offered her pranams and kept walking. And if you look now, the world goes on. And people are moving about. If we take the same order that Srila Prabhupada received from his guru and passed on to us, then even though people are going about their business in the world, when we take the initiative to pass it on, we'll be connected to this place, and every person who receives it will have received the seed of the internal potency. Brahmanda Brahmate Kon Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. It's a seed of instruction that will enter into their heart, and they'll be able to take to Krishna consciousness also. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, Śrī Panchatattva, if you so desire, please empower us under this divine jackfruit at Srila Prabhupada's birthplace, a place that we've traveled many miles to come to just for this moment, to beseech you to give us the wherewithal to focus on your instructions, the simple instructions that will yield all results. Follow strictly 4 regulative principles. Chant Hare Krishna, lead 16 rounds, and try your utmost to do good for others all over the world. The rest is all Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Please empower us in this way so that we can leave this place and go out into the world and carry on your mission. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part. Please unmute and say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande. Divinam Prabhu, ¿cuál es el programa? We should vámonos.
Hare Krishna. So firstly, we'd like to welcome the devotees who are traveling with His Holiness Indradimna Maharaj. Let's show our appreciation. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Sadhu, sadhu.
So now we'll...
One other thing, I just wanted to mention to Maharaj that there are devotees from many other yatras that have joined our youth yatra this year. There's ISV. Let's give a shout out to your hometown that you came from, whoever else came from a different place. No, a shout out, not a applaud. London, where? London, 2 from Toronto, Portland, New York, Columbus, Seattle,
Boston,
Mumbai,
Pune,
Chicago, Pune. Just wanted...
We had Sydney as well. Where's
Sydney.
There we go.
May the youth of the world come together and follow Mahāraja's admonition to carry on the Sampradaya. Gaur Premanande Hari Bol.
So we would like to now proceed where we came on the coach, and we would like to now go to Kidarpur dock, the dock where Srila Prabhupada boarded the Jaladuta from. It's a very beautiful site, a very beautiful place. It's as potent as any other Prabhupada spiritual places, and you'll feel the energy when you get there. So yeah, if you could all please collect your bags.
Can we say a few things about the bridge
yes,
first?
Much, yeah.
Just logistically. What we've been doing is taking the bus across the bridge and then having the bus driver let us out onto the bridge. And what we've done in the past, you never know with construction and laws and things like that. We get off and we populate the bridge. It's a very narrow walkway, so it's normally single file once we set up for Harinam. And please be careful about stepping onto the road because, well, for obvious reasons. People don't recognize pedestrians in India. This is not California. And we'll have Harinam there, and from our vantage point, we'll be looking out over the bridge and we'll see the Ganga, where the Jaladuta was docked when Prabhupada got on it. Many may not know this, but the Ganga ingresses into the ocean. And that's where Prabhupada got on the Jaladuta, is on the Ganga. And then it went to the ocean, then he came to Boston Harbor. So we'll have that vantage point to have Harinam there. Speaking of predictions today, because we've seen it before, people often stop their cars on the other side to look and see what's going on. And then devotees generally cross the bridge and start distributing books to the people over there. I'm not necessarily suggesting you do that unless it looks extremely safe to cross the road. And sometimes you'll see there's a lull in the traffic and you can safely go across, but be very careful if you do that. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
So